First thing I do in the morning, gets the blood flowing.
We've got a great show for you this evening. My name is Kelly Cole from Smooth Jazz 98.1, and we're so glad you could join us for our live Lights Out Jazz night. We've got a very special guest in the house, all the way from New York City. People, feel the love in this house. We're going to have a great time. We've got prizes to give away, and I want you guys all to make this man feel very welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Eric Frazier.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Eric Frazier was born in Harlem, New York City, and was raised in Brooklyn in a family of 8 children. He ran track and road races for 27 years, and his love of the physical culture and creative expression led him to the study of the Conga Drum and the Djembe drum and African dance. His recordings exemplify a world of music including jazz, swing, bebop, salsa, R&B, calypso, blues, Broadway, reggae, reggaeton, world music, and Afrobeat.
I go back to 1975 when I was appointed as the principal of Junior High School 57, the worst school in the universe. At that time, I had to turn a school around where the children were not learning, where there was discipline problems all over the place, gangs were fighting. At the same time that I entered the school, I met this young man called Eric Frazier.
I've been fortunate to work with a lot of people. I started off working with little Cleanhead Vincent back in '71, and I wound up becoming musical director for the Little Esther Phillips. I've been with George Benson since 1975, Stanley Turrentine, Freddie Hubbard, Etta James, who I understand is very ill at the time, Patty Austin, The Temptations, The Four Tops. I've had a beautiful career as a musician, and I have a slew of musician friends, and I'm very happy to say that Eric Frazier is one of them.
My name is Danny Mixon, and I'm a pianist and an organist. My experience with the Eric Frazier, we have been on many gigs, and I saw his development happen through other musicians. One thing about Eric, he would put musicians together that normally wouldn't play together, which sometimes changes the sound of the music and the approach of the music. Eric, he really has branched out into doing different things that like a kid in a candy store, you know. I remember he was doing photography, and then the next thing, you know, he was still playing the congas, and now he just picked up the drums.
I'm here today to talk about a very good friend of mine, Eric Frazier. I went to school to be a business major, marketing, retailing, and management, and went into theater. And then I bumped into this one-man play about Thelonious Monk, and that took me on another journey to love jazz and to be about jazz. And that's where, around there someplace at the jam sessions, Eric and I met.
I'm Arthur Elliott, you know, and that's about as close as you get to a friend of Eric Frazier's. Eric did everything for all of us already. I don't think there's too much left for Eric to do. You know, every one of us, he already did something for every one of us. If he just smiled at you, man, you know, Eric smiled at people sometimes, man, that, you know, I wouldn't even pay attention to, you know. And it's for a reason, you know, that he keeps people like alert. He lets them know, you know, I see you there, and I'm not gonna have a problem with you.
First of all, to say my name is Al M2. I'm a longtime resident of Brooklyn. Eric Frazier, I know him as Ngoma, which means the drummer. Eric and I are longtime friends. We're friends from possibly 40-something years. We started out in the science department in PS Junior High School 57, which the principal was just here, Mr. Sheldon Roach.
Eric was young, vibrant, vital, and he related to the children extremely well. But what was still happening, although we had the ideas to change the school around, the transformation didn't come till much later. We had to follow the children down the hall. We had to run them up and down the staircase. We had to capture them and try to force them back into their classroom as we tried to transform the school. One of the things that we had to do was to change not only the structure of the school, but change the personnel. Because people were there who did not want to teach the children, did not believe the children could learn. So Eric and I and others sat down together and found out what we could do. We don't care if you go to Monroe College, we don't care if you go to the college on the corner, but at the end of your career here in this junior high school, you would have all the skills necessary to be successful in college.
He's probably the most peculiar musician I know in the fact that he's a businessman as well. He makes it easier for us because he's the businessman. Very nice man. I've never seen, I guess I have seen him angry, but he's made it fun. He's a master at his instrument, and he's a master at the business. I don't know why I keep thinking about this story.
It's never too late to do anything you want to do because he has, he was a principal of a school and he retired, and in the back of his head all them years he wanted to do exactly what he's doing now.
He stabilizes me. He's a good guy. I'm saying he's a good guy. You know somebody that's a good guy, so you talk about your good guy. I know who my good guy is. This is a really, he's a great guy, man. We grew up near the Gowanus Canal, you see, and the Gowanus Canal stopped right at our block. The canal just locked us in this community, and then don't forget we had the horse stable.
Eric was very strong, as I said before, very academically oriented. And he said something very interesting to me also. He said, children cannot do anything unless they identify themselves or see themselves in their history. He said, we've got to fill this building with some symbolism that represents them and their history. So we began to put pictures around the building of important persons. Frederick Douglass, for one example, Malcolm X, another example, Marcus Garvey was another example.
Eric driving me home in his van one day said, you need sponsors to make it happen. And I thought that was a wonderful idea.
On our way to New Jersey, and we were late for this hit. And we were stuck in traffic. And you know that lane that you ain't supposed to drive in? It's supposed to be for emergency, and here was Eric Frazier. He said, man, I think I'm gonna try this lane. I said, Eric, we're in the lane now. I said, Eric, I don't think we're supposed to be in this lane.
But people, they say things, but they don't follow through. Eric put his money where his mouth was, and he said, I'm going to be the first sponsor. And I'm very proud and privileged to say that he stepped up, and he was my very first sponsor. And I haven't been able to look back since. Sponsorship has been making me develop as a wonderful jazz production house on the Lower East Side. 8.5 years so far and counting.
Yeah, man, we're making progress, man. You see how far we're going, right? And I mean, we went a long time in the lane, and here we go. I mean, it was hours of traffic, and he's passing all this traffic. I didn't get relieved until I saw about 50 cars behind us. Eric he's a daring guy, and that's what it takes to be in this business. A daring guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had the pie factory, the California Pie Factory that was up near 4th Avenue between 4th and 3rd on Douglas Street, I believe it was. We would run in there, it would be a mob of us, we planned it too. We would run in there and we would just snatch pies, but hey, you can't get out. They didn't kid at the Apple Factory. Remember on the way back and forth from school, there was a little apple factory along the side. They had crates of apple. We would go in there, we stuff it in the park. The guy would lock us in the place. Come on, I got you kids. He'd run us around the car. And we'd get out that door one at a time. He'd let us slide and let us go. And then we had the bakery right across the street from Vinny's. The bakery, fresh Italian bread. We would sit on the stoop. Everybody would go up in the house and take the butter, the margarine, the butter, you know, and put it on the kitchen table and let that start getting soft. When we sit on the stupid, we wait for this guy to finish making this Italian bread. And then, when it was time, he said, "All right, men, ready?" He said, "Yeah, go, let's go."
Eric is really a prolific guy. I call him a Renaissance man. Eric Frazier has been a really inspiration to me and really thousands of people, our students, his students. He's made many transitions. Eric, at one time, I remember Eric was sick and he was on his back. And we didn't know he was going to make it. He didn't look well.
He willed himself back to life. I mean, actually willed himself back to life. Later on, I saw him, and he said that I wanted to do something with my life. I wanted to go into music. After all of these studies and everything, he had now retired, and he was going into music. I said, "Music, Eric? Do you play any music?" And Eric said, "Well, that's not a problem. I want to go into music." And then he began to form these orchestras and music all around the community. He said, "You know, in the music, I want to do some singing in the music, you know, because people have bucket lists, but Eric doesn't have a bucket list. He has an accomplished list. Whenever you talk to Eric, it's about something he has done already."
Eric is a very confident person, very physically strong person. He would really take care of you. I mean, it would get ugly. I'm serious. It's always been strong. Always. Eric, you go right through the wall.
I've known Eric for a number of years, and he's a get up and go, energetic guy who's nothing but positive energy for the jazz world and the music business. Always has a smile on his face. Always is willing to do things and make things happen. And Eric is he of course he plays Conga drums and he sings, and I've seen him perform a number of times. He gets people's attention.
They can't take that away from me. Eric Frazier Productions hosts the second annual Fort Greene Jazz Festival Series, bringing a stellar lineup of jazz musicians and vocalists to one of the coolest places in the borough, Fort Greene, and it's pretty cool out here today. I salute Eric Frazier and Eric Frazier Productions for pioneering this wonderful event in the heart of our borough. I commend the Eric Frazier Quintet with Cynthia Holliday, Takeo, Rome Neal, Ruby Collins, Solomon Hicks, all of whom, among others, all of whom are committed to nurturing jazz in our borough. I congratulate them on the occasion of the second annual Fort Greene Jazz Festival Series, which I'm confident is the beginning of many great festivals to come. And is signed by the borough president, and this, of course, is a proclamation. And I commend Brother Eric Frazier and his superb band and all the performers here this day, this beautiful day.
Hello, my name is Shauna. Now, you've heard all about the man through his bio, the presentations that we had from some legendary artists. Now let's meet the legendary artist up close and personal, the Brooklyn icon, Eric Frazier. Eric, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good.
Good to know.
You know, it's a privilege to sit here and interview you here today. And so tell us a little bit about how you got started, you know, some of your first experiences, your early experiences in the industry.
Well, fantastic. Well, the first thing I did was I played drums just by myself on the drum. I would sit in college, we'd have these parties, and I'd live in a frat house. And everybody be dancing to the music, and I'd be in the corner with my drum, just playing the drums. And then finally, a fella was putting together an African dance show, and so
I got together with the dancers, we rehearsed, and we did the show, and we got paid. So when it came time for me to get my check, I said, he says, okay, here's your check. I says, oh, I don't want the check. Can I have the drum? And he says, okay, yeah, take the drum. So I never knew what the check was, but I was so happy to have that drum. Since then, I went into drumming, African drumming with some famous people, Ibrahim of the Dance Company of Senegal, where we had to dance to everything we played as drummers. And I find that it helped me today because now I recently just got going into tap dancing, and I find that, well, me doing percussions and playing music on the drums with my hands, I could do it with my feet as long as I can hear the rhythms. So it all comes together and helps out in the very things that I'm doing today. Was a assistant principal in the school, and I was slated to become the principal of that school, and then I became ill. I had a laminectomy, which is back surgery. So I went into the hospital for the back surgery, and then it says, well, we got some news for you. We discovered cancer.
Wow.
So I was laid up with cancer, and I had to do the back surgery, so I had to learn how to walk all over again. And it took me about a year to a year and a half. It's a lot of hard work, but hey, it's nothing but a word, right? So I went through that, and then after that, during that time, I says, man, once I get back together, that's it. No more sleeping giant. Because I used to be like a very quiet person, and I was shy to do things and even sometimes say things because I spent a lot of time reading. And a lot of things I would talk about and say, people would look at me like I was crazy. So I just went playing drums and anything physical or expressive, that's what I did. Max Roach was just a wonderful, beautiful brother. And I feel so much of a connection to him because it was Max's music that I heard as I was growing up. Max lived about a mile and a half from me. And when people mentioned jazz, automatically I thought bebop, because Max was playing that bebop. And Max he went to the same high school that I went to, Boys High School. And he had the same type of, what would I say, experience that I had. First of all, it was all boys school. Second, everybody came dressed up. Shine shoes, creases in our pants, iron shirts. We were clean. No girls, but this is the respect we had for each other. The third thing, we were scholars. Each of us did well in our academics, and then one year they had 16 state scholarships come to New York. 14 went to Boys High School.
That's amazing.
I was playing one time. It wasn't in a church. It was next door to a church, but I was playing somewhere, and I was doing a solo on the congas. I had 3 conga drums, and when I finished the solo, Max Roach was sitting in the audience. He got up from his seat and came up to the mic, and he said, ladies and gentlemen, take hold to cherish this moment because you're in the midst of a great conga player. I almost fell out. I said, what are you talking about? Because he was a legend, and he's been around all these great musicians. But as I went and did more research on him, I found, and everybody else knew, he was the inventor of polyrhythms. Polyrhythms is keeping many rhythms in a basic beat. And unbeknownst to me, that's what I was doing when I was doing the solo. I had a basic beat, but then I played many different rhythms in there, and he was recognizing all of that. And that's why it moved him to get up. He invented that kind of thing on the trap drums. Hello? Hey, Duewa, how you doing? Well, we're doing a documentary here today.
Yes, I do, and that's why I'm here.
Oh, fantastic. Did you want to make a comment? Something about your dad?
I want to say to your dad is that I'm very proud of you, and I want to take your music from large heights to even bigger heights. And you're such an inspiration to myself and many artists, musicians, educators, community workers in New York and beyond. You are a Renaissance man, not only are you a musician, as many people know you, but many people may not know that you're a scholar, that you are an esteemed educator, a youth, an advocate for youth progress and education, a historian, a journalist, a mentor to many, young and of all generations. And, of course, you're a father, and I certainly give tribute to you as my artistic mentor because I know that my interest in poetry, music certainly came from you and my mother, and I feel that I'm just in line with what you said before me, before I was even born. So I just want to thank you for your model of excellence in everything you do.
Wow, well, I just like to thank you for those wonderful words. And, you know, I love you too, sweetie. And I'm happy for the people who are out there who may be viewing this documentary or listening to some of the things that are being said, because the main thing I want them to know is that this is in everyone. This is in all of us. We all have a legacy, and we all have something that's going on in our lives that everyone else can benefit from. And maybe this will inspire other people to do likewise, to do the same thing. And in case they do, they can always contact www.dogfame.com. Did you know that?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there's a plug for my man. But the other thing I want to mention about this is that just for people to know about us, our families, our relationships, our parents, the fathers. We hear so often so many things that are not as good as we like it to be about our parents, particularly fathers, black fathers. And I just I'm happy for the people to see the love that we have here, and hope that it will inspire them to continue love and do all those positive things that make them happy. I have to say that this whole action, this whole activity, this whole documentary thing it's been a blessing, but also I feel like I'm making a statement, and a statement that I hope really hits the hearts, the minds, and the souls of people who are viewing, just to let you know what we're about as people. What I feel is very important to me is that we don't wait until somebody is gone before we have to say the things about them that we like to say. Looking at things connected with the planets and how light just travels out forever. And so does the aura that you have as an individual. Whether you're alive or not, it continues to travel through everyone that you have come across in your lifetime. Anyone that speaks of you, remembers you, remembers something that you said. With that, I just have to say that I'm happy that we've done this endeavor. And the next thing I just want to let you know is that when you're doing some things, you got some things on your mind, some endeavors, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and get it done, and don't stop. Keep your focus. And you know what? Yeah, it takes discipline. Anything that you want to do in life, it does take discipline, because you can bet your bottom dollar that with some of the things you see me do, you know what? I have to live like a soldier at times. Up early in the morning, doing workouts, exercising, planning my meals, to making sure I have all the right nutrients and minerals in the meals, working on my craft, working on the business aspects of what I do. That takes time. And you know what? It means that you can't be everywhere. You have to do you. And so that's the message that I like to put out to you. Do you, because now you be good for others. And I just thank you for joining us and viewing this documentary, and I hope that it inspires you to do what you do and to spread the love.